Welcome back. In previous step, we have created the Terraform configuration for Terraform module EC2 instance, which will in turn call this module to create the two EC2 instances for us. Okay. So in this lecture, we are going to work on creating the C5 outputs.tf. So before getting into C5 outputs.tf, so we'll go inside C4. And this will plainly create two EC2 instances for us. Okay, but as usual, we'll have something called, we can have some simple web server to be installed using the module user data, and then test the whatever the web server installed using browser. So we can even manipulate it to have a simple use case for us. Okay, so with that said, we'll also provide a input parameter here, which is nothing but user data. So I will enter user underscore data, right? So user underscore data, and as usual, I'll provide the same thing. I'll provide the call the file function and provide our Apache install.sh script. Okay, so let me see this and then paste it. Okay, so with that said, once the EC2 instances are created, it is also going to install the web server for us on those two EC2 instances. Okay, so using module, you are going to provision the EC2 instances, and in those EC2 instances, you are also going to, using user data, you are going to install the web server. Okay, so now let's come back to C5 outputs.tf. Here, let's go ahead and then define the output. So first things first is EC2 instance public underscore IP, and description is going to be public IP addresses of EC2 instances. And now let's define the value here. Okay, so value is going to be module dot and the module name dot. Okay, so let's say module dot and module name dot, right, and whatever the output attribute. Okay, so you have seen here the outputs, right? So here in the outputs, you will find same public underscore IP. So this is the output information. So let's come here and then public IP. So is this going to work for us? Ideally, no. Why? Because if you see here in the EC2 instance, you are sending the instance count as 2, which means it is going to provision two EC2 instances. If that is the case, then it need to output the list of public IP addresses for those two EC2 instances. With that said, you need to add star here to display public IP list. Okay, so in the same way, let's create an output for EC2 instance public DNS, and description is going to be public DNS for EC2 instances. Okay, and control space and value, and we can say module dot EC2 underscore cluster dot star dot public underscore DNS. Okay, so now it will output the IP and then DNS of your respective EC2 instances, which you are going to provision using the EC2 instance module. Okay, this completes the creation of Terraform configurations from C1 to C5. So now what you are going to do here is the next step, which is nothing but executing the Terraform commands. Okay, so I'll go ahead and then go to 10 Terraform modules and 10.01 Terraform module basics, and inside Terraform manifest, I will say Terraform init. So if you see, first it is initializing the modules and downloading the Terraform AWS module EC2 instance AWS, whatever you have defined here. So first it downloaded this module from the Terraform registry, right, and then it stored in this location .terraform modules EC2 cluster. Then it initialized the backend. You are using the local backend. So this is local backend initialization, and then it also downloaded the provider plugins. Okay, so if you go to .terraform now, you should find providers and also modules. Okay, providers which we have seen earlier. So now we'll see the modules here. Okay, inside modules you can find the EC2 cluster module. Okay, and inside that you can see the information about that module, entire things. Okay, outputs, versions, variables, and then main.tf. So in variables, whatever you can define, so you can define all those things are in EC2 cluster. If you see cat outputs, okay, outputs, whatever you can output, you can find the information here, and using the module.x, whatever we used here, right? So using module.xxxx dot this value, whatever you want, you provide here. Okay, so example, if you want to output tags, so you can do this. Okay, so this dot star dot tags. Okay, so here it is this, but for us it is going to be module.ec2 cluster dot star dot tags for outputting the tags. Example, if you want to define anything else, you can define all these things. If you want to get the subnet ID, security groups, or private IP, primary network interface, so whatever can be outputted using this respective module, all are defined in outputs.tf. So you can reference them here and then use it there. So here, and then you can find this default outputs.tf. So inside this, whatever is there, you can output in your regular thing. So example, if you already did public DNS and then public IP address. In addition to that, if you want private IP, so you can get that using private underscore IP, right? And then you define your entire thing here. Okay, so you can copy this and paste it here, and you can say this as private underscore IP, and you just say private IP addresses for your instance, and go here and bring this value private underscore IP and then paste it here. That's all. Okay, so like this you can output whatever is present in the default outputs, whatever present for that module. So all those things you can output using module here. Okay, so that's about it. So now let's come back here and start running the next commands. Come out of this, come out of this, come out of this. Now you are in Terraform manifest folder, and now you will run the Terraform validate first, right? So this should be good. So let me close, and I will run the Terraform plan. Okay, so we'll see how many EC2 instances it is going to create for us. Okay, so as part of the instance count you have provided for this respective module, so it should create 2 instances. Okay, so the instance count you have provided is 2 here. Okay, so 2 public IP address and then 2 public DNS will know after apply command. Okay, so if you go here on the top, let's start with top. So module dot ec2 cluster dot aws instance dot this of 0. Okay, so this is the module block, and inside that this is the module name whatever you have created, and this is the real resource type in Terraform provider aws underscore instance dot this of 0. So it will create a resource aws underscore instance with this of 0, means 0 instance it is going to create. In the same way here it will create the second one now. So module dot ec2 cluster dot aws instance this of 1. Okay, so it is going to create a resource aws instance here. Okay, with this of 1. Okay, so now let's go ahead and then say Terraform apply auto approve, right? And now we'll also go back to our GitHub repository right here, and if you see here we have completed apply in AWS management console for your default security group. Okay, so for your VPC you have a default security group. Inside that port 80 is allowed or not, you verify. Okay, so go to security groups in VPC. This is the security group, and in the inbound rules, right? So I said that nothing related to port 80 is allowed. Okay, so we'll see how it is going to impact us. So we associated this respective default security group to the EC2 instance, whatever it is going to create for us. Okay, so if you see it is getting created 2 instances with modules demo, and inside that you have the security group with only all protocols, internal security group, internal that VPC access, but from outside nothing is allowed. Okay, so let's go here, and we are going to access our the public IP VM because we installed the web server. Okay, so with port 80 we are going to access the web server from internet. So for that purpose we'll go ahead and then allow one more rule here. Okay, so which is nothing but from the rule is port range is just 80, and or you can even just say let be 0 and then go here and then search for HTTP. This is the 180 and anywhere. Okay, and save the rule. So now port 80 is allowed from internet to our respective VPC. So let's go back here, and once the resources are provisioned, okay, so now if you see here, resources got provisioned. So EC2 instances got created, this dot 0 and then this dot 1. So outputs of private IP, you can see it has created the private IPs here, and also public DNS you can see, and then public IP address for both the things you can see. So you can copy these things and go to the browser here and paste it here and access it. Okay, welcome to Stack Simplify, so and so got created. Okay, in the same way second one also access it, and it should be accessible for you. So this is what we have implemented now. So let's go here, and that's about the entire what we call creation of a module or calling a module, and then also outputting those values. Okay, so in our next lecture we are going to focus on tainting resources in a module. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.